Another day, another dollar as I holler to the world. I love the way I'm living, love the Gucci, love the girls, love the parties and the clubs, love the models and hot tubs, love the German engineering set on deep dish dubs. Another tour around the world, entertaining the fans. I love walking through the airport, taking pictures, shaking hands. Every day for me's an oyster, crack it open, find a pearl. I love the way I'm living, is what I holler to the world.
Welcome back to Marking Out with MVP and Dwayne Swayze.
I'm MVP. He's Dwayne Swayze.
How you doing today, P?
Doing exceptionally well. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about this amazing suit that I'm wearing right here, and how warm the color is, and with the bar behind me.
Right on.
You know, I feel like I'm at an old bar in Key West. You know, like I should be having drinks with Hemingway. You know?
Oh, right on. Right.
Maybe I should be like down in Havana. You know, that's the feel I have right now. So.
Why don't we have some drinks with Dwayne Swayze? How about that?
Why you gotta snap me back to reality, man? I was in my space, man. Okay, I'll pour some Devil's River bourbon. You do the intro.
So guys, please do us a favor. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching the series on YouTube, you can do it there. If you're listening on your favorite podcast provider, make sure you follow us. And something new, I would like to start with something a little bit different today, P.
Okay.
Our Patreon subscribers are sending in some questions to you. And guys, the syndicate level and the balling superstar level Patreon subscriber tier, you guys are able to submit your own questions, and then I will ask them to MVP on your behalf.
See, membership has its privileges.
So make sure you click the link below. Takes you directly to our Patreon, and you can see all of the tiers that are available for you to sign up for. So our first question from our Patreon subscriber, Troy Dean. What up, Troy? From DeForest, West.
Pastor Troy.
So Troy wants to know, P, why was your MLW match with Low Key never aired? And would you be willing to have it for your Syndicate Club members to view?
Wow. So for those of you who are unaware, there's an independent wrestling company called MLW, and I worked for them for for a year, maybe a couple of years. I forget exactly. I used to have a podcast on the MLW network, and I had a match with Low Key in Orlando at the nightclub they used to shoot at, and Low Key and I decided to do some cinematic style, like samurai. It's crazy.
Oh, no.
He had the Filipino fighting sticks, and I had a kendo stick, and we were like fighting with the sticks. And
No.
he was doing spinning the sticks at me, and I picked up a chair, like blocking, and we had a good time. We had fun with it. Why it never aired, I don't know. That's a question for the owner of MLW. I don't remember what happened. I honestly don't recall what happened. But as far as having it available to my Patreon subscribers, I don't own the access to that footage, and I don't have it. But if I was able to come across it and get it somehow, or we could watch it together or something, that'd be cool. So let's see if we can figure that out some kind of way.
Right on.
Yeah, that's the best I got for you, Troy.
Well, thank you, Troy, very much for sending your question to MVP.
Let's a toast to all of our new subscribers to the YouTube channel.
Right on.
And to all of our Patreon subscribers as well. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Here's to you.
Here's to you guys. Oh, what's this one, P?
This is the Devil's River coffee bourbon.
Oh, nice.
It's got a nice little coffee finish on it. Touch of sweetness, you know. That's not bad at all.
Thank you, Dave. All right, first question up for today, P. What role does fear play in high-stakes matches, and how do vets use it versus how rookies react to it?
Man, Dwayne Swayze, excellent question.
Yeah, thank you, PVM.
That's exactly what he would say too. That's a good question, because you really get into the mind, the psychology, the mindset, the head of the athlete in question. And that's the make or break, right? Everybody's scared the first time you go out there. I don't think that, I mean, I'm sure you have anomalies and everything, but I think most people the first time they go out there and perform in front of a live crowd, feel fear. It's what you do with that fear. Does that fear motivate you? Does that fear handicap you? In some cases, does it cripple you? And I guess early on in the wrestling business specifically, but in entertainment in general, the people who can't handle that pressure get weeded out pretty quick. And I've seen people get in the ring and just be overcome by fear and nerves where they're literally trembling, and they can't remember. I'm like, relax, calm down. And that's where, traditionally through the years, you have the veteran take control of the match, grab a hold, talk him down. Hey, calm down, relax. Hey, just listen to my voice. Take it easy. But, when you're talking about high stakes matches, when you're talking about big pay-per-views, you say high stakes, I'm assuming you mean like major pay-per-views.
Yeah, major pay-per-views.
So I think that by the time a professional wrestler gets to the level that they're in a big stakes match, they've developed that callus because they've already, most of the time, because throughout the years you've had guys, Goldberg comes to mind, a guy who just came out of nowhere, right. And was like rushed into a position, right? The proverbial rocket ship.
10-4.
You've had lots of guys through the years that just had to look at and then the tools that promoters said this guy could be money and have been. But the difference is, to your question, veterans or even some mature rookies learn to thrive on that adrenaline. After a while, you start to crave it. Like, man, you hear that crowd out there, you hear that noise, that sound, and that pyro's going off. It's just like a rush. It's like, ooh, what a rush. And if you're not ready for that, and I've seen, some young guys through the years who got put on that big stage and spooked them a little bit, threw them off. They managed to recover and went on to become, big stars through the years. But if that fear cripples you, you won't be around very long. And I've even said in one of my songs, fear of failure is my strongest motivation. So I use that fear because, I'm at the point now in my career where going to the ring is putting my feet up on my desk. But early on, when I first had a chance to be on international television, and I'm out there working with legends, guys that I idolized and looked up to, there was a big nervous factor. Like, don't mess up, don't mess up.
I can't imagine you being nervous. I know tens of thousands of people out in an arena, but I just can't imagine you walking out, even as a rookie, and being nervous or feeling fear.
But it's a different kind of fear, and in this case, like I said, it's a fear of failure. It's not, for me, I know that I always knew that I'm good enough, that if I'm in the ring, especially early in my career at the WWE level, if I'm in there with the likes of a Kane or a Benoit or, Taker, some of these people I faced early on, I can't fail. I just have to not mess up. What was the Baltimore Ravens quarterback that year that they won the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
When the defense won the Super Bowl.
Right.
Dude, you're not a great quarterback. No disrespect. Just don't mess up. Don't turn the ball over. Don't mess up. So in those situations, I had a safety net where, I was nervous, but I was more scared. This is the crazy part. I was more scared of disappointing who I was working with some sort of a screw up than I was screwing up in front of all these people.
Right.
Because I held these people in such high esteem. I want to prove that I belong on this level. So it didn't cripple me. It didn't handicap me. It motivated me. And I just, that adrenaline. And if anybody, at the elite levels of television tells you that they weren't scared their first time, they're lying. That's a lie. No, you were scared. No, you were scared. And it's okay.
Right.
Because like I said, it's the type of fear. What kind of fear were you feeling, And like you said, what you do with it. And that's how you figure out who your money people are. Because one thing about WWE, you got thrown into the water. And if you couldn't swim, Vince wasn't throwing you a life preserver. Tony Khan is way more patient because he's just such a nice guy that he'll give you a little more time to work things out. Very different philosophies how to approach things. And I remember Undertaker said one day, he said, "Hey man, we around here we throw them in the deep end with the sharks." He said, "I just got." How did he say it? He said, "I stand by and I wait for the ones that come out of the pool with a pair of sharkskin boots."
Nice.
As I'm sitting up with my man Taker, we drinking Jack together. Yeah, see these sharkskin boots.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much fear is going to make you or break you. And if you use that fear to motivate you to shine and perform it and rise up to the moment, then you're a star and you belong here. If that fear breaks you down and you can't handle it, then this isn't for you.
Right.
And that's just the sad truth of it, So on that note, how about if you like what I'm talking about, if you like this information, if you like these conversations we're having, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you're taking, and sip something or smoke something or whatever you do, eat something, whatever you do, just join us.
So guys, however you are listening to us, make sure you follow if you're listening on your favorite podcast subscriber, or if you are watching us on YouTube right now, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. That shows YouTube that you guys like the comment and lets them know who to push our content out to.
Yeah, people like you who like the stuff that we're talking about, right?
Right on. All right, peace. So next up.
All right, talk to me.
What makes a pre-tape segment hit harder than a live one?
Oh man, that's a really. See, I like questions. Man, you really been. All right, so one of the beautiful things about professional wrestling is getting that mic and standing in that ring with that live audience and having thousands of people immediately interact with you, and it's this beautiful feeling when you have become good enough at your craft that you can get on that mic and you can control the reactions of thousands of people. I can make everybody in this building right now boo me. I can make everybody in here cheer me. I can make everybody boo you. You better be careful, But you have the crowd interaction. You're going to hear the fans. And sometimes that's great because you can hear how they pop, on a punchline or, a reference of some sort. But sometimes you have really excited fans who want to participate. They do the what?
What? Yeah.
What? Which, all right, I don't like it, of course, but I like that fans want to get involved. They want to,
And I've never seen it really phase you. With a lot of people, they almost seems like they stop and then they wait and then they finish in between the chants.
I have the microphone, not you. I'm in control here, not you. You can keep saying what, I'm gonna keep talking, because I'm not talking to you people in the arena anyway. I'm talking to you people at home watching on television. You're the people I'm talking to. So, and that's, a lot of younger talent when they first get on the big level and they start. It's one thing, and that's why there's levels and experience. It's one thing to be at your local VFW hall on an indie show in front of 200 people trying to mimic what you're seeing on major television and learning along the way. Because once you step into an arena that, has 2,000 people, if, as you're working your way up, you think, oh wow, it's 2,000 people in here. You're cutting your promo and you got people trying to heckle you, or maybe you've gotten to a point where now you're popular enough on the indies that these people like you and respect you, and it's your big show. You got 2,000 people. You go, wow, this is crazy, you know. And then you get to that level where you're in an arena and there's 50, 60,000 people. You go, wow. Or, you know, you get to a level in your career where, you know, you're in Japan or WWE or AEW, and just consistently every night, depending on the building and the region, you know, you're at the Staples Center and it's sold out, you know. So the audience adds so much. But when you're doing a backstage, you have the luxury of, well, there's a whole other factor. When you're in front of the audience, there's no mistakes. You can't make a mistake.
Right.
You can't botch it. You can't forget. You can't, you know, because they will let you know you fucked up.
Yeah.
You fucked up. And I've messed up on lots of promos, but I don't memorize them. So you don't know because I don't go tackle, drop down, oh shit. You know, like I just find my way back, and you know, and I've said that before. When you memorize promos, if you get lost, then you don't know where to get back to. But when you're doing a pre-tape, the crowd isn't involved, and they're not influencing what you're saying in your delivery and how you want to deliver it. Something that happens with Bobby sometimes, because he is so soft-spoken in real life. Sometimes when he responds to something, because of the crowd, you can't hear him that well. You know? But in the backstage segment, when Bobby makes those subtle little things that he says, they sound so much more sinister, you know, because this big scary guy is, you know, saying, it's a nice suit, and walks away. You know, it's like, whoa. Also, with a pre-tape, if you screw it up, you can do it again. So you do get multiple chances. Sometimes you'll have a bunch of us doing a pre-tape, and we'll run through it. Everyone gets comfortable. We'll do what we're going to do. And we'll, all right, let's run through one. And we look at it. And maybe somebody says, I don't like the way I hit that line or whatever. All right,
You guys preview it live, like right after.
we could go right then. The cameraman hooks it up. We look at it. We watch it. You know what? I think she can step in a beat earlier. Maybe you should open up more. Okay, boom. And run it back. Boom, this one's better. Is that one a buy? Yeah, that one's good. You do it as many times as you need to do it. But hopefully at that level, if you're doing a pre-tape, the goal is to always knock it out in one shot. You know, like one take Jake. I don't want to do it in multiple takes.
Right on.
And I work with people who are talented enough to be able to do it in one take. Everybody wants to do it in one take. But sometimes somebody misses a beat, or just when watching it, you see, well, we can make this better by putting your hand here instead of here because you're blocking the face, or, you know, little adjustments that you can make. I remember a promo that I made prior to facing Jeff Hardy at SummerSlam. Shout out to my man, Freddie Prinze Jr., because here's an interesting little side story. I was not a fan of Freddie Prinze Jr., and when he came on board WWE to be a writer, my first thought was like, man, this Tiger Teeny Bop, man, you ain't gonna tell me nothing about wrestling, man. You know, like, I'm a big fan of your pops, you know, but you ain't all that. You know? Reference to the movie She's All That, he was a star. I didn't like him. I didn't know him. That was just me being an idiot. We were forced to work together and work on the backstage promo that I had to cut on Jeff Hardy going into this big match. And normally, like I said, I don't like to write promos, but I like to have an outline, get it in my head, and then deliver it. So I had a writer and Freddie, and we're working on this together. I'm, you know, kind of spitting it out, crafting it, and then we needed that go home line, like that button hook and bring it home. And I'm sitting there, and Freddie's pacing back and forth, and he's just, you know, I hear him mumbling stuff, and then he comes back, and here's the crazy part, right? I don't remember the promo. I don't remember it. I can't remember anything about it except it was Jeff Hardy, SummerSlam. What I do remember is Freddie going, I got it. And my first thought was, no, the fuck you don't.
Yeah. Like, all right.
No, you don't have it.
All right, Freddie.
Yeah. All right, Scooby-Doo. Fred. So he gave me the line. And the writer I was working with, he looked up at me. And I just looked down.
Yeah.
Because I was like, wait a minute. Damn. This motherfucker.
That's the one.
Damn. God, God, I know what you did last man. But that was the line. And I said, you know what? That's it. Took that in. We went in the back. And I remember it was a one take. But at this point, I had gone over it so many times, and Fred gave that button hook line. And I remember afterwards, because we recorded it in the back and then aired it live to the house. And the number of people that came, Vince actually sent for me to give me the thumbs up on that promo to congratulate me. I remember Big Show said something to me, like a whole bunch of people came up like, wow, that was good.
Did the button up line, was that like?
Dude, it was the button hook. It was the goal. It was what we needed for that whole promo to come together to, and there are people that are going to watch this that will remember that, or will probably go and find it and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I see what he's talking about.
Put it in the comments for me, please, so I don't have to
Yeah.
search.
Yeah, please do that. But so that was an instance where if I had cut that promo out to the house, I don't know if it would have had the same level of intensity and fire, because the audience would have been talking over me or with it. But in that situation where I was like I think in a locker room or something, talking about how I'm gonna kick Jeff Hardy's head right off his shoulders, it hit differently because there was no crowd on it. There was no crowd influencing the sound or whatever. So in that way, pre-tapes can hit differently because, like I said, you have the blessing and the curse of the audience. There's nothing like being in the ring live, talking to people. But for the furthering of a storyline or to really hit an emotional point, I think to have a solid backstage pre-tape where you can have that person talking straight to the camera, talking straight to you, and letting you know exactly how I feel and what I'm gonna do to your favorite baby face when I get my hands in my... That's the difference,
Is there a producer, coach, or agent that's over those particular segments?
Well, you usually have a writer, and like I've talked about in the past, depending on your ability and how much they trust you, they'll give you a script that you have to memorize, and you'll have a producer for the segment, and the producer you'll have a director. The producer is usually a professional wrestler, and then you'll have the writer on hand.
Okay.
So you got a few people to, give direction, and but then of course, the higher you are up the totem pole and your ability and status, then they're just telling you whether or not they thought it was good or bad. Whether you might want to take another one. They're not telling you what to do or how to do it.
What's one gimmick that got over despite everyone backstage thinking it would fail?
Man, I guess through the years, there's probably been a few of those. Two come to mind. Let's talk about me first. The original debut of MVP with the Brian Boitano figure skating.
Figure skating? Or the Power Ranger. I like Power Ranger too.
I was like, man. There are a few people that thought like, this ain't gonna work, this guy, and especially the way they introduced me at first, being like all scared and whatnot,
I don't remember that.
What?
You were scared?
Yeah, like when I first debuted, I was all cocky and all that, and then Kane was my original feud, my first one. So instead of being, super cool and cocky and confident, I was always running from Kane, scared, and trying to get away from him and being all like comical. But it wasn't until I had my feud with Benoit where I got to show my wrestling ability, and I, changed my outfit up a little bit. I tried to find like a more serious edge, and Benoit knew that about me anyway, because we, talk about Japanese wrestling and my working with him. So he knew the kind of matches that I wanted to have. So as they introduced me, they put me with Kane to make me this chicken shit heel. But once they put me with Benoit, I was able to start to morph a little bit into that more confident, cocky. Yeah, I was still a chicken shit, but not the same way with Kane, where it was, oh, well, please don't hurt me. I could have been screaming Norman Smiley. But I think another one, and I think they deserve huge props, The New Day.
Oh, okay.
I don't think anybody thought that The New Day, when it debuted, was going to, they didn't think that it would become what it became. And, you know, the phrase turning chicken shit into chicken salad, you know, they did that, you know, lemons to lemonade.
Yeah.
Because I remember talking to Kofi about it, and he said that when Vince first pitched it to them, he used Up With People as a reference. Now, most of you watching this have no idea what Up With People is. It's such a, it's so dated. And I remember it from when I was in like first grade.
This is the first time I've ever heard it.
So Up With People, and I think they even did something on, like, I'm sure South Park and Family Guy, they did something with the nonprofit organizations that are about positivity, and they come in and they sing and they do skits. And in the 70s, it was like a big thing that was going on for a while. In the 80s, it kind of fell off, and I don't know, thank God it doesn't exist anymore. Look, all right, laugh with me, all right? The lubricant helps. I remember being in, I think it was first or second grade, and the music teacher put on an album, and we had to sing. And don't ask me why I remember this. Up with people, you meet them wherever you go. Up with people, we're the best kind of folks you know.
What is going on?
Like so positive. Be happy, be nice to people, like little social things to teach. Hey, Jim's a little different from us because he's in a wheelchair. But Jim has, that corny, like.
Yeah, but we're going to be up with people?
This is the reference that Vince used to sell to the New Day. They had no idea what the hell Up With People was. They had to go look it up for the reference. Vince was like positivity and just good feelings and good vibes. And if you remember the initial vignettes, they were doing the choir,
I thought it was something gospel or church related.
Well, because Vince wanted to convey positivity and lifting spirits, and they were like, man, I don't know what we're gonna do with this, man. And in the beginning, a lot of people just didn't, but what they did by making some adjustments and morphing, and then over time turning it into their version of the New Day. They did exactly what Vince wanted, but in a completely different way. And they become iconic as a result. I heard Vince say about the I heard him say about the New Day one day, they're a national treasure. Like, he loved the New Day. And in the beginning, nobody thought that was going to be what it turned out being, a box office money draw.
Right on.
And that's a testament to the talents of the three gentlemen that made up the New Day. And look, out of the New Day, you got 2 WWE champs out of it.
Right on.
Who would have ever thought
when
it started that, So I think those are the two that most solidly come to mind. MVP, I don't think anybody thought that shit was going to work. And the New Day, I think people thought that was going to fail miserably, and it turned out to be one of the greatest gimmicks of all time.
I have got a special request for me and the people. Can we have the song again? One more time.
Up with people, you meet them wherever you go.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Dave.
So I know a few weeks ago, there was the first official Hurt Business reunion.
Yeah, I was at River City Con in at Golf World Resort, I think it was, in St. Augustine. And real cool people, man. Real good event. It was real busy. Got to see, some of the old friends, but it was the first time that the original members of the Hurt Business were reunited. As it stands now, me, Bobby, and Shelton often do signing appearances grouped together, because if you want to see us individually for our own career exploits, but if you want to get us collectively, we're all right there. You know?
Right.
So that's been great. But I hadn't seen Ced in a while.
Right
so
on.
to see Cedric and have him over with us, and of course, people keep asking, Cedric, what are you doing next? When are you doing next? When are you?
As soon as these cameras turn off, I'm gonna.
See the whole reason for the podcast, right? Like, he wants to know.
Yeah, but I don't want y'all to know. I want to know for myself.
Well, Cedric hasn't told me yet.
10-4, 10-4.
But yeah, he's a free agent now. So he's done with his 90 days, and he says he's got some things he wants to do. But it was just so cool, just like seeing Ced and us, taking pictures again. And just we had to do a Q&A panel, which was also really cool. People were asking questions, and it was just awesome to talk about that time, that period, because it really was a moment in time. I mean, the world had gone crazy, and the number of people that were watching, because it was the only live sports on television. It was the only thing live that was happening. And at that time, we were presented with an opportunity to carry the ball. And we carried that damn ball. And Cedric was an integral part of the whole storyline and angle. So, and just hearing everybody come and express, just how much they loved the Hurt Business and how awesome it was. And like universally, everyone is like, why'd they stop it? And they did it too soon. And we all agree, but no use crying over spilled milk. It is what it is. The Hurt Syndicate exists, and we're having a good time. So
Pandemic P is still on TV.
Pandemic P was a menace, man. 8, 9 segments. Producing, wrestling, cutting promos, backstage segments. Maybe I can do it all.
Commentating.
Doing commentary. Yeah, I was doing commentating for Main Event. Like, oh man, all over the place. But let this be a little bit of advice to you, the young up and coming wrestler. It's not just about wrestling. It's the business of professional wrestling. If you want to be in the business, if you're just somebody that wants to practice the art, that's fine. But I would advise you to learn all aspects of the business. Wow, you're a great in-ring wrestler, but you should also learn about how to produce segments, how to direct segments, be aware of production, and all of this will just help you in your career as you grow and you want to climb the ladder to success. And I'm still around all these years later because I'm halfway decent on the microphone. And I also help direct and produce things and whatnot. So just give yourself a chance to be successful. Immerse yourself in the business, learn all aspects of it. And with that, we should call this one a wrap.
Agreed, man.
One more time, we appreciate you staying with us. Please like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Tell your friends about us. Well, I think right about now we're pretty hot, right?
I'd say so.
Didn't we just recently crack the top 20 and
Yeah, I think we were number 15 in the world.
In the world. Man, that's straight to that.
Yeah. So thank you guys. And if you guys want more exclusive content, please be sure to click the link in our description and join the Patreon. We've got some exclusive tiers on there to where you guys get different access levels to MVP.
Yeah, the Patreon content, ask around. We over-deliver. We make sure that you get brand new behind-the-scenes content, stories just for you on your subscriber level, a personal welcome video. Yeah, we go hard on the Patreon, so you take care of us, we'll take care of you. And on that note, this is Marking Out with MVP and Dwayne Swayze. See you, Space Cowboy.
I just lay back in something new. Whiskey 21 and over, low ball. Make it too neat. Dizzer from Harlem. Yeah, I'm from Houston, off of Fondre. Mike Mazan and real world flow. Plant these seeds in the streets and in weeks. Watch it blossom. Dark night, riding on chrome, swinging through Gotham. It's me and P, repaving these roads.